been preparing this for a while. This is going to be the second episode in my Let's Rant series. Shut up, Lester. Anyways, this video is not a gameplay video, although I will be playing just to sort of demonstrate things. This video is going to be my suggestions for things to add or change in GTA Online. I've been playing this game since it was released, and I do like the game, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely some things about it I would love to have changed. And I have here 2 whole pages of notes, front and back. Like I said, I've been preparing for this for a while. I actually started writing down my ideas for this. Things I'd like to see changed, things that could be better about this game. As I said, it is a good game, don't get me wrong, but again, can still be improved. The first thing on the list essentially encompasses all my other ideas that I'm going to list. Complete redesign to a more MMORPG standard. Essentially what GTA Online is the GTA equivalent of an MMORPG. So the fact that it lacks standards of the MMORPG genre are kind of the fact that it lacks these things is really depressing. So the first idea, as I said, it basically encompasses every other idea I'm going to list here. So that's a big one. That would basically be a complete overhaul of the entire game. Yeah. As far as actual ideas, number 1 on my list is more vehicle mod parts. This would just be simple adding things to the game. Just mod parts, you know. You just look at the car. Oh, okay. Am I in your way, douchebag? Fine, I'll move. Get past the tree. But you can just look at the car. There's hoods. There's some grill options for this one. Spoilers, exhaust tips. Most cars also would have front bumpers and back bumpers. This one does as well. Side skirts, which this one doesn't have. Hoods. Some cars have roof mods, like a cloth top or whatever the fuck. You've also got your rims as well, which is another one of my ideas, would be to add more rims. I know the lowrider stuff adds more rims, but they're exclusive to the lowrider cars, and you can't use them for anything else, or on any other vehicles. So that kind of is a bummer. Not to mention there's a few cars in the game that have no body mods whatsoever. The Ocelot F620 is one that jumps right out at me as an example. There are no body mods whatsoever. That car looks really nice. It's a nice coupe. It ought to be classified as a sports car, honestly, but whatever. It's a nice car. It could use some nice body mods so people could customize it, make it look better, and stuff like that. And, like, everything for that car. Like, you could do front bumpers, back bumpers, side skirts, spoilers, grills, hoods, exhaust tips, everything. But yeah, just add more vehicle mod parts. Even the cars that have vehicle mods already, you know, just add more. You know, we could always have more. This also ties in with another idea. I don't know why I had these two things separated, but somewhere else on here I have idea listed to essentially add stuff like from Midnight Club Los Angeles, which was another one of Rockstar's games. You could add stuff from that game, like, you know, custom vinyls on your car, being able to actually make your own vinyls and paint jobs and stuff, not just have to go with the preset vinyls and things like that, or the different liveries that they've added with the again, with the lowrider cars and things like that. Add all kinds of things. Interior modifying, which again they do have in the lowriders, but it's exclusive to those. You should be able to do that with all your cars. Another idea I've mentioned in other videos while I've been playing the game, a faction reputation system. The different factions in the game, you've got the different gangs, you've got the Ballers, you've got the Grove Street families, you have the Lost Motorcycle Gang, you have the Vagos, the Police would also count as a faction. I could also see the emergency service people like paramedics and firemen being their own separate factions. And even the general population of the city, just civilians or pedestrians, basically, would be their own faction. And you could have reputation with each faction being either good or bad depending on how you act towards that faction. You piss a specific faction off, they won't like you, and they'll actually, you know, for the gangs, they'd actually attack you on sight. And hell, for the gangs, they'd even send, like, hit squads after you, you know. And this would also be cool because for people who really do just hate a specific gang, you could antagonize them on purpose just so that they would send hit squads after you, just so you'd have something to do. You know, you could just be driving around in free roam, and all of a sudden you'd have 2-3 SUVs full of gang members rolling up on you, trying to kill you, and you could take them out. You can take their money, take their guns, their ammo, take their cars and sell them. You know, it would give you something to do. It would be exciting. You know, things would be happening. It wouldn't just be... Because one of the things that I really don't like about this game is there's never really, like, anything going on. You know, it's up to the players themselves to set things up. Like, one thing that a lot of people like to do is they like to set up car meets. You know, they'll find a specific location where, you know, they'll get a bunch of people and they show off their cars and all this other cool stuff. And then there's dicks who will antagonize those people and just attack them while they're doing shit. Of course, the best way to solve that problem is to have everybody go into passive mode, but whatever. I see this all the time. I'm actually a member of a Facebook page that's dedicated purely to that, setting up car meets and other activities in the game. So, yeah. Give us more things to do, things that would happen spontaneously or randomly. You know, just... Speaking of things like that, another idea I had listed was the random events that happen during the single-player mode. You know, like, somebody took the old lady's purse or whatever. You can chase the fucker down, beat him to death, take the purse, and give it back to the old lady, or you could just keep it and keep all the money for yourself. Again, all these things would also tie into the faction reputation thing. The more you help people, you'll have a good reputation with them, and they'll like you, and they'll actually do things to help you out, you know. If the general population, just like civilians, like you enough, if they see you commit a crime, say against a gang member, they won't report it to the cops, and you'll just get away scot-free. That would be cool, you know. Have things like that. if you're friendly with a specific gang, maybe you'll be able to call some of the gang members in for reinforcements to help you out. You know, if you're doing a gang attack, maybe you could use a little help. Just random things like that would be nice. And the random encounters, like I said, the old lady and her purse, or not even necessarily the old lady, just any woman gets mugged for her purse and you chase the fucker down. And shit like that, you know. All those random events that happen in the single player mode, it would be really cool to have them happen in multiplayer as well as the one where you can come across the parked armored car, and you can mug the driver of the armored car for the briefcase that has all the money in it, you know, instead of the way the armored cars are in the online mode right now, where you have to chase the armored car down, put a frickin' sticky bomb on the back doors to blow the doors open, and then you take the money, which gets you a shitload of heat from the cops. And unless you want to waste $5,000 to call Lester to have him take the wanted level off, which a lot of times isn't even as... a lot of times it's actually more money than you get from robbing the damn armored car. So, yeah. Okay, the faction reputation system, that was the third idea.
Hey!
Shut up, Simeon. The next idea would be to tweak the vehicle handling physics. I'm not sure if I've ever actually said this before, but while the physics in the game are okay, I actually liked the GTA 4 handling physics better. I felt like you could do better drifting in GTA 4. And I'm not necessarily saying they should switch back to that, but just tweak the physics more so that drifting is more possible. Because as it is, drifting in this game is a frickin' pain in the ass. And for most vehicles, it's not even possible. You know. So, yeah. Tweak the vehicle handling a little bit. Make the cars maybe just a little bit more slidey. Or, you know, another interesting idea would be to add a new set of wheels and tires to the game. As it is, we have off-road wheels, muscle car, sports car, SUV, lowrider ones, and I think that might be all of them. But we have all these different types of wheels and tires. They don't really do anything different. Like, some people say the off-road ones actually do help you in dirt and shit like that, but I've never really noticed that. As you can see, I've got muscle car rims and tires on this car, and I'm handling the dirt just fine. So, I don't know, maybe it's not because maybe it's just because I'm not really trying to do anything crazy, and maybe it's because I'm actually on a road. Even if it is a dirt road, it's still a road. But yeah, maybe having the different wheels and tires actually affect your car's handling would be nice. And that ties in what I was talking about with drifting. Add a drifting tires and wheel set to the game. That would actually make your car slide more and make it easier to do drifts. Be another interesting idea. Here's something else, the next idea, and this goes along with one of the things that's missing from the game that's a staple of actual MMORPGs, and that's the ability to sell things, including an auction house and player-to-player trading. There is nothing even like that in this game. You can't sell things. You can't sell off the properties that you have. You can trade them in towards other properties, but that's not the same thing as actually selling them. You can sell your vehicles, yes, but you can't sell weapons. You can't sell clothes or any other type of accessories or clothing items. Like, I've got a ton of masks and other clothing items that I no longer want or need. And scrolling through things in this menu here, and it takes forever. Like, I've got all these different masks, and half of them I don't even want anymore because I bought them by mistake, or hell. And then there's other things that Rockstar just gave people. Like, there was a bunch of clothes added with, I believe it was the Beach Bum DLC way back. And a bunch of clothes like board shorts and all different kinds of beach surfing stuff. And they just gave it to everybody who was playing at the time. And it's like, I'm never going to wear these clothes. Why the fuck should I have them? I don't want them and I don't need them. Why can't I sell them and get them the hell out of my inventory? And it included a bunch of hats. And so when I go to scroll through my hats, that fucks with that. So, oh hey, there's another thing. This is just something spontaneously. The races that you can come across in the single-player mode. How come you can't join the race and make some money off of that? Yeah, I know there's plenty of racing in the game, but just being able to race against NPCs would be interesting, you know? Have those kind of things like that. That, I guess, would be part of the random encounters thing that they should add. But being able to sell off your weapons, you can already sell off your vehicles. And this also kind of ties into another idea that I had at some place, all the way at the end, actually. Buying cars from actual car lots or private sellers, you know. There's plenty of places on the map that look like car lots. Used car lots, or even new car lots where they have, you know, new cars, and there's the used ones, of course. How come you can't buy cars directly from there? I mean, like, yes, buying it from your phone is convenient, but what if I just want to buy the car from the lot, take it immediately to a one of the Los Santos Customs mod shops, mod it up, take it back to my garage, and store it, you know? Maybe that would be how you could do... Maybe that would be the auction house for vehicles, you know? Instead of just selling your car to the Los Santos Customs, you could take it to one of the used car lots in the game that could be added in, and you could put the car up for auction, and it would be sold as is, all the mods, all the paint the way it is, and it would be just the way it is. All the performance mods and everything. And another player somewhere could just buy the car. And this could also help, like, low-level players who, you know, say you got a friend who's just started playing the game and you want to help them out. So you have the money on your character. You can buy these really expensive cars with all the upgrades and everything, but your friend is level 5 or whatever and doesn't have the money or hasn't leveled up enough to unlock all the performance mods and shit like that. So you want to do him a favor and get him a good car, but it's one of the cars that you have to buy from the frickin' the phone menu or the computer menu, whatever you want to call it, because you can't just steal those cars off the road and take it to a mod shop because they won't let you, which is another thing I hate about the game. It's Grand Theft Auto, and there's certain cars that you can't keep stealing them off of the road. And it's just because they're the really expensive cars, and the guys at Rockstar are just really trying to push their shark cards. But yeah, having an auction house for your used vehicles, you know, be able to do something like that, that would be nice. And being able to trade, be able to have there be like a gunsmith place or whatever where you can sell your used weapons. Again, it would be like an auction house. You put the thing up for sale, and highest bidder wins. You know, whatever the fuck. It'd also be another way for people to make money. I'm sure that's probably why Rockstar hasn't done it yet, because they don't want people to be able to make money this easily. Of course, it's not like it's all that easy. Anyways, so the next thing on the list. More enterable buildings. Strip clubs, dance clubs, food places. I remember in GTA 4, once again, there were more places that you could go into. Now, I know the map was smaller, and that was why they were able to detail it so much. But now that we're on PS4, there's plenty of RAM, you can do these things. So there's other strip club places already in the game, on the map, that you can see. You can't go into them. They haven't been detailed on the inside. And as far as dance clubs, there's at least one that's already had the interior detailed, at least as far as, you know, furniture and scenery. They haven't coded in NPCs, you know, just pedestrians being there dancing and shit like that, but I'm sure they're already working on this one, because like I said, the interior of the dance club is already there. You just can't access it. It's the, what's the name of the club? It's over there by the Del Perro Heights apartment complex. Bahama Mamas. Yeah. This ain't your year. No, it's not, Chief. But yeah, dance clubs, strip clubs, apartment buildings, you know, being able to do stuff like that. Just all of these interiors, especially the interiors that are only accessible during missions or heists, make those available, you know, make those available even during free mode. Some of those places I'm sure would get you a wanted level, and I would accept that. That would be fine. If you try to bust into the bank during free mode, yeah, the cops are going to be all over you. I accept that. Oh, speaking of other things, mansions would be a good idea to add, because I've always wanted to buy this place. This mansion is freaking epic, and I know supposedly this mansion is owned by the guy who runs the friggin' Epsilon cult. So, the online mode is also supposed to take place 6 months before the storyline of the game. So let's just say, or at least I heard that somewhere. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Let's just say before the dude bought it, somebody else had it, and that somebody else could be you. And I mentioned food places. Once again, there are food places like Cluckin' Bells and shit like that in the map as well. Once again, going back to GTA 4, these places were enterable, and you could actually order food and get food. So that would be a nice thing to add as well. We could go to these food places and order food, and that's actually another idea that I had, is food places like the Clucking Bell and etc. are now functional. Food bought is immediately eaten, and I'm sure it would heal some of your health immediately, but it would also grant slight health regeneration for a certain length of time. You know, be able to buy a full meal. You eat the full meal, you get health regeneration for a little bit, you know? These things could help you out during missions, during heists, just when you're out and around, you know? It wouldn't give you massive amounts of health regeneration, but just enough to... It could save your life at times. It would just be another interesting idea to try, you know? Or maybe they could be things that could be kept like snacks, and they would just heal a bunch of your health. Like eating a full meal would heal you completely. Like even from the tiniest little sliver of health, you'd be at full after eating a full meal. I don't know. You can balance it any way you want, but just, you know, it would just be a nice idea. Speaking of things like that, more consumables, drugs. Maybe this one ain't such a good idea, but with the game being as fucked up as it is, as far as, I mean, you can already smoke the, what are they called? Bongs. You can take hits off of the bongs, you can get drunk, and you can even carry booze around with you. I mean, shit, it's right here. You've got the piss wassers, and even cigarettes. Have more drugs. They would be like Brucey's testosterone, which you can order from Brucey. But these drugs would be things that you could carry around with you like the snacks, and you can consume them when you want them or need them. And the different drugs could have different effects. Don't know what they would be, but I'm sure things could be thought up, you know. It'd be interesting to have a drug that would, like, I'd go for a Scarface reference. You could do a bunch of cocaine and have insane damage resistance, you know, because there's the famous, or the infamous scene from the end of Scarface where Tony does a huge mountain of coke, and he has that huge shootout with all those thugs. Do some coke, get damage resistance. It's just an idea, you know. All sorts of ideas you could do with that. Different drugs you could take. I mean, we're going to do the criminal... It's a criminal open world sandbox MMO RPG kind of thing. So, might as well go all the way into the criminal underworld shit and have the hardcore narcotics. You could just throw up a disclaimer. Rockstar does not condone the use of drugs. I think they already have that somewhere anyways. But yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of dance clubs, there's one up here. Right on the corner. What is this place called? Cockatoos.
I'm really not in the mood for this.
Yeah. Ow. But yeah, open this place up. I'd like to go inside. Get my dance on, you know, shit like that. Listen to some music. Just a place where it would be like the strip clubs where you're prohibited from using your weapons. It would be just like a place where you could socialize with other players. And once again, this ties into another idea that I have somewhere else, which would be more interactivity with the environment. Being able to sit in chairs and on benches and things like that. Just anywhere out in the world, not just in your house, but anywhere. You see a bench in a park, you can sit on it, you know. Any chairs that you can see, the stuff down by the pier, there's plenty of chairs over there. You could sit down in those chairs and just sit and chill, you know. Be able to just lean up against a wall and just lean and cross your arms and just look all tough. You know, just be able to do cool stuff like that. Lean up against light posts and phone poles and up against the wall. Just more interactivity with the environment, you know. Maybe even this thing that would be stupid as hell. You could actually interact with the frickin' yeah. You got the thing here. You got the button. It's even already there. You could hit the button to make this stupid traffic light change. So if you want to cross the street, you know, and the traffic is just screaming by, you could hit the button, activate the light, and you could cross the street. Or maybe that you could make an entire frickin' random encounter thing out of that, you know? You see the old lady on the side of the street. She's got arms full of bags. She just got done grocery shopping or whatever. She needs to cross the street, but her hands are full. She can't press the button. You press the button for her. Hey! She goes, you know what? You're a nice young man. Here's some money. Again, there you go. It's just coming up with things off the top of my head here. Next item on the list. Add more apartments and mansions. I already went over the mansions. I'm actually not too far from one location that I thought would be a good idea for an apartment complex. I'm not sure if this is actually supposed to be an apartment complex or not. This building over here, the Rockford Plaza, in story mode, Michael's son, I forget his name, but when you play as Franklin, you pick him up from this place. Is this like a mall or something, or is it an apartment complex? I don't know. But you pick the kid up from here. So I'm guessing he's either staying there, as in it's an apartment complex, and that would make sense because you come up here, and there appears to be the opening to a garage. You come around here, and there's this garage opening. So that would be the garage to the apartment complex. That's where you could park your cars, and that's where you would come out from, you know, when you exit your garage. I'd actually like to have an apartment here, if this place is even really an apartment building. I don't know. But it would be cool. There's plenty of other places you could add apartments and shit like that. I mean, that building over there looks like an apartment complex. Or is it a hotel? I don't know.
You idiot!
Oops.
Dude! Not again!
Not again. Yeah, right here is a garage. Yeah, this looks like an apartment complex. You can't buy anything in here. So, Las Venturas. Speaking of Las Venturas, that's another one of my ideas, would be to add more cities to the game map. Again, now that we're on PS4 and Xbox One, we have the RAM for a bigger map. And we've already heard the rumors that Rockstar is working on the next GTA game, GTA 6 or whatever it's going to be called. But the rumors are flying that this could potentially be the entire United States of Grand Theft Auto, would be the map. So they would bring back Liberty City, you could go there. They would reuse Los Santos from GTA 5. There would probably be a new version of Vice City. I've been waiting to see a new version of Vice City since GTA 4 came out, because I loved the original Vice City, and I loved the city, just the feel, the atmosphere, you know. I'm kind of an 80s buff. I guess that's why I liked that game, because it was very 80s. All the Scarface references and all that other stuff. And I loved the music from the 80s as well. But yeah, I've been dying to see what Vice City looks like in the HD universe, as it's called. Hey look, gang members. I go wherever I want, Chief. Anyways, but yeah, add more cities to the game map. A lot of these ideas, I fully admit, would basically require making a whole new game. Because some of these ideas you couldn't do just modifying the game that already exists. I admit that. And I accept that. But, yeah. Moving on. Okay. The next two ideas go hand in hand. First idea, this is something I've hated since the game was launched. Everything in this game is way too expensive. And it's so expensive and so unrealistically expensive. It pisses me off. From the simplest of things like clothing, which serves no use. It's not like an RPG where clothes can actually give you armor or protection. No. The clothes in this game are completely cosmetic. They are purely for your character's look or appearance. So there's no reason why these clothes should cost $2,000-$3,000. Granted, some things could, like the really nice suits. I can understand that, because in real life, you know, you buy a fucking, what's it called? The the name of the designer of the clothes. Not Gucci. Well, I mean, if you're a chick, you could buy a Gucci purse or whatever the shit. Or a Gucci dress, I guess. But there's like the really high-end fashion designers who make the really nice shit. The Armani, that's the name. Armani suits. Stuff like that would be really expensive because in real life they are fucking expensive. People walking around in $5,000 suits, you know. But still, that's still a lot cheaper than the $10,000 or $20,000 suits that are in the game as it is now. That's ridiculous. Paying $200 or $300 for a t-shirt. That's ridiculous. Not to mention, when you go in the single player, you can buy the same clothes for 1/10 of the price. That's the main thing that I hate the most, is that in single player, things are cheaper. But in multiplayer, they jack up the friggin' price. Ridiculous. So, reduce prices on everything to more realistic levels, and that includes weapons, vehicles, properties, you know, your apartments and everything. Reduce that shit. And that's the other thing. Why do you buy an apartment? Why aren't you just paying rent on the apartment? Unless it's more of like a condo or a yeah, it would be like a condo or a penthouse suite type of deal. That's what most of these things are. They're not apartments because you pay rent on an apartment. You don't pay $200,000 to live in an apartment. Semantics, I know. It's kind of my thing. And as I said, that idea goes hand in hand with the next idea. In order to balance things out, if you're going to reduce the prices on everything, you also have to reduce the amount of money that you make from missions and races and all that other stuff. Because we can't have people making $20,000, $30,000 on a mission when apartments are cheaper, weapons are cheaper, and shit like that. So for balancing purposes, you would have to reduce the amount of money that you make from missions and everything. Now, heists would probably still pay pretty well, but doing regular missions would probably be reduced, and doing races would probably be reduced, death matches and shit like that would be reduced, payouts and things like that, just for balancing purposes.
I like your car.
Done it now.
Okay.
Anyways. Next idea on the list, stealth stuff. I feel like the stealth in the game is rather weak, and I know the game isn't meant to be a stealth game, and I'm not asking for it to be. Just adding a few small stealth elements might help make the game more fun. Stealth type missions, or at least missions where stealth can be utilized to great effect. Here's an idea. Being able to hide in dumpsters and other objects to hide from the police or anybody who might be pursuing you. You know,
I feel so disconnected.
improving the cops. That's another idea that I have later on. Improving the cops so that they're more realistic. So, being able to hide in dumpsters or boxes or anything like that. Being able to hide bodies in dumpsters and whatnot, you know. The ability to crouch in cover. And when I say that, I mean if you just take cover on a random wall like this, you can't crouch. No matter what. And I remember in GTA 4, once again, pretty sure you could. So how come we can't now? Not to mention, I just think that the sneaking mode, where you just kind of hunch over like an idiot, it kind of looks goofy. How come you don't actually crouch down? Once again, like in GTA 4. There's just a lot of things I miss from GTA 4, like being able to just push people. That was funny. I just push people downstairs. It's hilarious. How come we can't do that no more? Hiding bodies in containers. Ah, yes. And then there was this other idea which still goes along with the stealth stuff. Mini-map. I find it kind of strange that no matter what, you can see everybody else in the free mode lobby. You can see them on your mini-map and in the main map. The idea, my idea would be you can only see, this would actually be something to steal from like Call of Duty multiplayer. And as much as I hate Call of Duty, the one thing they did right was you can't see the other players, especially the other enemy players on the map, unless they're shooting a gun. So I don't see why that's not the case. In fact, once again, going back to GTA 4, the multiplayer in GTA 4, I think that's actually how they did it. You couldn't see the other players on the map unless they were shooting a gun or making noise. So if somebody's sneaking around, you wouldn't be able to see them on the map. If somebody's firing a weapon equipped with a silencer, you would be able to see them on the map, but only if you're close enough to hear the muffled shots. So from further away, you wouldn't hear it. Not like, you know, somebody's firing a non-silenced gun. You'd be able to hear them from far away. But if it was silenced, you'd have to be closer. Things like that. Just, again, more stealth stuff. And I know that would also kind of fuck with the one Lester ability, which removes you from the map. What it could be is, instead of him removing you from the map, it would still remove you from the map, but it would still keep you removed even if you're shooting or making noise. So you still wouldn't be visible.
I'm taking time to really discover truth, you know?
Next idea, add more vehicles from past games. Again, just adding more content, more vehicles. There's a bunch of cars, motorcycles from GTA 4. Once again, GTA 4. I'd really like to see come back. The Rancher pickup truck. It's a short cab, short bed, two-door pickup truck. It's not like the Rancher XL. Speaking of the strip clubs earlier, there's one. Hornbills? Yeah, there'd be a new strip club. Anyways, the Rancher from GTA 4. It's not the Rancher XL that we have in GTA 5, which is a four-door, big-ass SUV. I'm talking about the pickup truck Rancher from GTA 4. It looked like a Ford Bronco or like a Chevy Blazer. And you could actually get version of it with the bed cap, which would make it look more like the Bronco or the Blazer. You could get it without. You could get it with the light bar in the bed, so that you would have the rally lights up on top, or the fog lights, whatever the hell they're called. Have all those different versions of the thing. Have all those different body mods available as options for that vehicle would be nice. I'd actually really like to have that vehicle. And again, this ties in with another idea, would be to have add another garage like Benny's, but instead of doing lowriders or other things like that, have one garage dedicated to doing off-road vehicles or converting vehicles to off-road vehicles. And you could convert the Rancher to an off-road vehicle with the jacked up, you know, coil-over shocks and all that cool stuff. That would be nice as well, to have things like that. Other vehicles from past games. A lot of the motorcycles from the Lost and Damned expansion of GTA 4. Once again, one specific example I would really like to see added would be the Revenant, which was, again, one of the chopper motorcycles that the Lost guys had access to. And I liked that bike. And again, you could include some different customization options for it. Some people probably don't know, but the version that you see in the Lost and Damned is the official version, but there was a beta version that was actually included in the vanilla version of GTA 4. It wasn't accessible, but it was in the game files. There's a version of the Revenant with suspension springs on the back, as well as a small fairing on the front handlebars. These things could be included as options for the bike customization options, you know, as well as paint jobs and changing the rims and things like that. As well as it would also be nice to add neons for motorcycles, because I've actually seen motorcycles with neons. So that would just be an interesting little thing to add. And of course this wouldn't just apply to the choppers, it would also be for the sport bikes as well. You know. Just, you know, again, add more content. More vehicles, more motorcycles, cars, trucks, vans, just more. More customization options for them. And speaking of the stealth options and silencers, adding the ability to put on / remove silencers at will would be a nice addition to the game. Being able to take your silencer off if you want to go loud, or if you're like going into a stealth mission or whatever, you put the silencer on. It would just be nice to do that at will. And I'm not talking about you go to the, you know, you go to the gun store and you do it. I'm talking about being able to do it on the fly. You know, it could just be another option that you could do. Hell, I mean, you could just open up the weapon wheel and push a button over the weapon and it would remove the silencer or put it on. And speaking of other options, being able, the next idea on my list, as a matter of fact, is to have select fire switches on the guns. Well, applicable weapons. Anything that's automatic, like assault rifles, SMGs, the automatic shotgun would also be an option to have this. Have a select fire. You can change it between single shot, burst fire, and fully automatic. Again, just highlight the weapon in your weapon wheel and press a specific button and you could change the fire mode or take on or put off the silencer. You know, just things like that. The next idea on my list actually seems like they're already going to be adding somewhat into the game. Rockstar released a article on their website, one of their Rockstar propaganda things that they call it, or at least that's what the email is called. I'm actually on the email list. But they also posted it on their Facebook page. They're going to be adding into the game, this big expansion that's coming up here soon, is being able to have, it's essentially adding like a criminal empire sort of thing. You can acquire illegal goods and you can sell them to make money. And you can also have a headquarters for your organization, which is your, I guess it would be the SecuroServe organization, which also kind of ties in with another idea that I had. But yeah, they're adding things like that. They're adding more. They're adding apparently some more stuff for the creator menu that they have, where you can create your own races and death matches and things like that. That's also another one of the ideas that I had. But my idea was the ability to buy and own businesses, again, like you can in the single player mode. And again, like in the single player mode, this would come with defense challenges, where you have to go and defend your property from attacking bad guys. You fight them off, you get rewards, your business gets to stay in business and keep making money for you. However, I would change them to not have the stupid time limit like they do in the single player mode, although that's just me, because I hate time limits in general on anything. guessing. Yeah, okay. Next idea, the ability to buy and customize crew hideouts. Now, these would not be your organization hideouts. They would be just for your crews, like your gangs. Like, it would be a gang hideout. It would basically be like a guild hall, to use a traditional MMO analog sort of thing. So it would be like a crew headquarters. Like, once again, harkening back to GTA 4, the Lost and Damned, you had the Lost hideout place. It gets burned down at one point, but you could have something like that. There's plenty of buildings, abandoned buildings, or buildings that are up for sale, that you could turn into a gang clubhouse, or whatever the hell. You could buy the place, customize the interior, you know, put up your gang logo all over the place, shit like that. More vehicle customization, like the Midnight Club LA style, custom vinyls and liveries. I already went over that. Oh, here's another big one. Better character creation and customization. As in, when you first start your character, you should have sliders to customize your character's face, instead of the stupid thing that they have where you pick your character's parents and grandparents. I don't know who came up with that, but it's kind of a dumb idea. Seriously, just give us sliders so we can customize facial features, sort through facial hair, regular hair, eye color, you know, be able to change the shape of nose, eyes, you know, all the facial options. Be able to change your character's height, you know, because that's another MMO staple. All the guys in the game are kind of short, and all the girls look like Amazons. They're so tall. It's ridiculous. Also, you could have plastic surgery locations to allow you to customize your character's face after the initial creation. And again, there's plenty of places already in the game where this would be, you could just plonk it right in. Just detail the interior, have a little waiting room, a counter, and a receptionist. You'd go into the surgery room, you know, things like that. Another thing that really bothers me, the next idea on my list, better balancing for weapon damage versus health and armor. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the body armor in this game feels so damn weak. It hardly protects you at all. You can have full body armor and take maybe 4 pistol rounds before that armor's gone. And that's shit. Because body armor, again, realistically, the body armor that police wear, standard issue police bulletproof vests, can stop basic pistol rounds and shotgun blasts. The only thing it can't stop is really like armor-piercing bullets or high-caliber rifle rounds, which would be like assault rifle, sniper rifle kind of stuff. I think they could even stop light SMG rounds. So your MP5 rounds, which are 9mm, would be stopped because 9mm is just a handgun round, and a weak one at that. So yeah. Basically, you take way too much damage in this game, and especially your armor. Armor should be more effective at preventing you from taking damage. Now, obviously, you get shot in the head. Armor don't do dick against that. And I know they have the bulletproof helmets, which I'm not even sure if those even work. Because you can still kill yourself when you're wearing the bulletproof helmet, which is... Yeah, I know that it's like a in-game command. You want to kill yourself, although why you would want to do that, I don't know. Like, the only reason that could possibly exist is to just keep your enemies from getting the satisfaction of actually killing you. Is really the only reason I could see that. But yeah, armor should be more effective, and depending on where you get shot, you should take more or less damage. A shot to the leg or the arm shouldn't do a whole lot of damage. A shot to the head, obviously, would be pretty damaging, if not lethal. shots to the torso, medium damage, I guess, whatever the fuck. Okay. Next idea. RPG elements. This game I really feel like could use to be more of like an RPG, where, you know, more skills to upgrade, because the skills we have, you've got your stamina, shooting, strength, stealth, flying, driving, and lung capacity. And the mental state doesn't really count as a skill because that's just, like, how crazy you are. The more you attack pedestrians, the more your mental state goes up. But there should be more skills that you should be able to increase. There should be more ways to increase all of these skills, like your strength stat specifically. What happened to being able to work out at gyms or use the exercise equipment? This is harkening back to San Andreas. The exercise equipment and the animations for them are already in the game. Down on the beach, Vespucci Beach, you can see people working out on the exercise equipment. They've got the running bikes, and they've got lifts and weights and shit, and then there's the people doing chin-ups on the bar. Why can't we do that? The animations are already in the game. Just give us access to them. So I don't really see how hard it would be to add that. Again, I don't know anything about coding, so maybe it is harder than I think, but like I said, the animations are already in the game. The objects necessary to use the animations are already in the game. Just give us access to them. Let us do that. We could use the bikes to increase our stamina. Lifting weights and doing chin-ups and stuff would increase our strength. Practicing your stealth isn't even really all that hard. But this feeds in with the rest of the idea. The RPG elements, skills would be harder to raise, but you have perks, or you get perks at certain levels of the skill. And there'd be more ways to level up the skills, which I just talked about. You know, those things would be that. One perk in particular for the stealth skill. I don't know if this has been changed. I think it has, but I remember in the original version of the game, in single-player mode, playing as Franklin, his stealth skill was really high. So when he would go to break into a car, he would actually use, like, I don't know what the hell it was, a Slim Jim, I think is what they call it. You can use that to pop the lock on the door without having to bust the frickin' window in and cause a whole bunch of noise. So, at, say, max stealth, you'd be able to do that. You could jimmy the lock, pop it open real quick, pop in, you don't break the window. That saves you money not having to repair the fucking window if all you're wanting to do is just sell the car for some quick cash. You could pop the lock and not set off the car alarm, which is another thing. You don't set off the car alarm, you wouldn't alert the cops, and you wouldn't have to run from the cops. There could be different perks for the different stats. You basically already do have a good perk for getting your stamina maxed out, and that's that you basically have infinite sprint. I've had max stamina for a long time, and I've never ran out of stamina. In fact, there's not even like a stamina bar in your... Well, of course, there's not even one in single player, but if you run out of stamina, you start draining your health if you keep running. And you have to stop and gain your breath back before you can get to running again without hurting yourself. But yeah, so there could be all kinds of different perks to this. What all could we have? Stamina covered. Shooting. Your shooting skill already affects the amount of ammo that you can carry for all the different weapons. So, with your shooting skill maxed, like I have, you can carry like 9,999 bullets of ammo for any given weapon. And of course the ammo is shared between the different types of weapons. All the pistol ammo is the same, which that bothers me because, again, I'm kind of a gun nut, and these pistols don't run on the same ammo. The basic Beretta pistol would be a 9mm. You've got the heavy pistol, which is a Colt 45, which would be the 45 ACP ammo. There's another 45 pistol, I think it's the USP 45, which is the real name. It's called the Combat Pistol, I think. And then you've got the Desert Eagle, which is, I don't remember what they call it in the game, but that has a 50 caliber pistol round. Again, semantics. All the different rifles run on different ammo. You got 5.56 and 7.62, and then you've got the sniper rifles, and they have their own shit. But yeah, also, leveling up should actually get you more health. And I know, like, every 10 levels it does say, like, you get health, but it doesn't seem like you have any more health. So, I don't know. I'm at rank 303 right now, and I feel just as weak and feeble as I did at rank 1, as far as being shot and dying that quickly. So, I know they wanted it to be balanced, like nobody should be, because like at rank 303 I would have so much freaking health it would be almost impossible to die. But, you know, whatever. Moving on to the next idea. Improved draw distance / memory. Basically what this is dropped items / vehicles stay longer. Meaning, vehicles that you see will stay around longer, specifically vehicles that you touch, and specifically when I said items, like you're doing missions, the guns that they drop, the ammo, the money, the snacks that they drop should stay there longer. That way you have more of a chance to pick them up. Because I've been doing a lot of missions lately, and their money keeps disappearing on me, the snacks keep disappearing, the ammo, even though I don't need the ammo because I've got so much I never run out. And I also kind of hate that you can only pick up ammo from dead bodies when you are under a low threshold. Like, I've got 9999 ammo and everything. I'd have to fall below like 2,000 or something to be able to pick stuff up off the ground, which is kind of stupid. This would also include things like fire and gas. You have your jerry can you can use to put lines of gas, and even puddles of gas I've found. You can use those to light fires and things like that, but there's like a draw distance to them. If you walk away from it a certain distance, it'll disappear, and you won't be able to use it. And also, the fire burns out too quickly when you light the fire. It'll burn out too quickly, or at least it used to burn out too quickly. I don't know if that's been changed. But things that are on fire should stay on fire for longer. And the lines of gas that you draw on the ground should last longer, and you should be able to look at them from further away. Like, I've always wanted to park my car down here in this parking lot and draw a circle of gas around the car, and then go up on this ledge over here and shoot the line of gas to get it to burn, and then be able to take a picture with the camera phone, you know, be able to take a picture of the ring of fire surrounding my car, because how badass would that look, right? My badass car sitting here in the middle of a burning ring of fire, and the whole ring of fire is going at once, and not just a chunk of it because the rest of it burnt out already, you know. Be able to take a picture of it from all the way up there, and also just be able to draw like logos with the gas and light the logo up and see it burn, like, you know, the Daredevil logo. You could do something like that. You could draw crew logos and shit, people who are talented with things like that, you know. I've always wanted to do things like that, take pictures of it, which would be cool. And this also kind of feeds into another thing. In the online mode, you never really see the paramedics or the firemen. Or maybe it's just I'm thinking of during missions. I'm not sure. That might be it. Even during missions, you should see paramedics and firemen. You know, you just start shooting random people. Paramedics should show up to try to help them. A fireman should show up to put out fires. Another thing from San Andreas you could bring back would be the fire extinguisher that you could actually carry with you. You could use it to put out fires. Maybe you could work that into missions where you have to go into a burning building and save a stash of drugs that you need to sell or some shit. You need to use the fire extinguisher to put out the fires so they don't burn and destroy the drugs. You know? And hell, I mean, that's kind of already a thing. It's not like that exact situation, but there are missions where you are, you know, the drug deal missions, deal breaker or peer pressure. I've had this happen all the time where I'll accidentally frickin' shoot the crap out of the gang vehicles and they'll blow up and destroy the drugs and I'll fail the mission. It would be nice to have the fire extinguisher. If the car is on fire before it blows up, I could run over, use the fire extinguisher to put out the fire and stop the vehicle from blowing up, hence stopping the frickin' drugs from being destroyed so I don't fail the mission and then just have to restart the fucker. Because that's just a pain in the ass. So that would be nice, again, having just more options, the draw distance on things, you know. Next idea. I also really like the Saints Row games. And I know that GTA doesn't really want to copy Saints Row very much. But I mean, taking the weapon wheel, they already kind of did. And there's a few other things that they could use to take from Saints Row, like the clothing system, being able to customize your clothes, and layering of clothes could use to be better. But this specific idea is the ability to aim backwards over your shoulder with certain weapons. Again, going to Saints Row, being able to just chuck a grenade or a Molotov cocktail backwards over your shoulder. I don't think you can do that. Maybe you can. Maybe it's just because I'm thinking like... Yeah, see? That did not go where I was looking. You aim, and you aim like this. But you can't... Yeah, see, if you aim, he turns around. You should just be able to just chuck grenades and stuff over your shoulder like that. I'm probably going to have to get out of here because they're going to be mad at me for throwing that. Then again, didn't hurt nobody, so... No harm, no foul. That would just be nifty to just be able to do that with thrown weapons, grenades, Molotov cocktails, sticky bombs, proximity bombs. I already said grenades. Just all the thrown weapons, you know. Be able to just chuck shit over your shoulder as you're running away. That way you don't have to turn around and actually like you're lining up a throw in a football game. Go long! You know, no. The ability to carry a lighter, like a cigarette lighter, so you can light fires without wasting bullets. Small, but would be nice. Not absolutely necessary, but again, it would be nice. Just carry around a Zippo, bam, you light up a fire, you run the fuck off. You don't have to waste a bullet. And the lighter could actually count as a weapon, and it would be something you would have to go and buy. Maybe not from the ammunition, you could just buy it from like a corner drugstore or, you know, a gas station. Yeah, have more stuff that the gas stations sell. You could sell lighters. And maybe the lighters could even be like a consumable that would only have so many uses. Because realistically, you get like a little Bic lighter, it's only got so much fluid in it, and then you chuck that fucker out, you get a new one. A Zippo, on the other hand, it's a bit more expensive, but you can refill it. I don't know. Just interesting ideas. The next idea, and this one would be kind of goofy, and it's also probably... I'm not even sure if it would be possible. But in single player, you can kind of talk to people on the street. Now, your conversations aren't all that detailed. You can just kind of hit the button and Michael or Trevor or Franklin will say a canned piece of dialogue or whatever to somebody. And the pedestrian will maybe respond, whatever the fuck. You could do something like that, or my idea would be actually to be able to talk to NPCs using your headset. You could actually talk to them, and you could enhance the AI to such a way where people could actually, you could actually just have a conversation with somebody. I don't know, that's probably not going to happen, but it would just be kind of cool if they would actually be able to do that. Like, even if it would be something as limited as you have to say specific phrases or words to prompt canned dialogue from the NPCs, you know. You say something about the weather, and they'd be like, oh yeah, the weather's nice right now, or it's raining, you know, I pull out my umbrella, or, you know, fucking shit like that. Things just as simple as that would be interesting. More NPC interactivity. Having the ability to knock people out instead of just flat out killing them using melee. You know, you get in a fist fight with somebody, you don't usually kill them. So punching somebody in the face, even if you have max strength, should just knock somebody out rather than kill them. And this would also go hand in hand with the ability to rob people. Walk up to somebody on the street, pull a gun on them, and say, give me all the money you got or I'm going to kill you. They hand over the money, you take the money, you let them go. You don't got to kill them. That would be cool. And, you know, you could knock people out and then just take the money out of their wallet. You know, say you come up against somebody who's being really bitchish, you know, you pull a gun on them, they're like, I'm not scared of that. And even if you pull out like a big gun on them and they're like, oh, I'm not scared of you, you gotta knock the motherfucker out. You don't want to kill them, because like again, that would affect the reputation thing if you had that too. You don't want to piss off people by just running around killing people. Say, I just want to mug the guy, I just want your money, I don't want to kill the guy. Mugging people would give you less negative reputation with the general population than just flat out killing people. Say, for killing somebody you get 5 negative points of reputation. For mugging somebody you only get 2. Something like that. So you can rob people instead of killing them for their money. Another idea I have here, mission rewards and benefits. Just getting money from missions, while nice, there should be more to it than that. You know, some missions should be so big, the quest giver or whatever might reward you with a weapon. You know, here's a gun, or a special version of a gun, which is another idea that I have. Special versions of guns that have improved stats, you know. Yeah, special variation of weapons with better stats. You could get, like, I don't think gold weapons or anything like that, since the skins are already in the thing. Which, that's another thing. Why are weapon skins unlockable? The problem I have with that is the weapons that were in the game at default, or the vanilla weapons, things that were not added with DLC, all the skins have to be unlocked through killing other players. And the requirements are so needlessly high. Like, to get the gold and platinum are the only ones that are actually unlocked, and pink. For some reason they give everybody access to the pink skin. But getting the other ones, or maybe gold and platinum are, no, they're not unlockable. They're already unlocked. They're just really expensive. But the other weapon skins, you have to get something like 600 player kills with that gun to unlock the skin. That's ridiculous. Why should you have to? That just encourages people to go out and kill each other. Which is probably one of the main reasons why going into a normal lobby just turns into a frickin' deathmatch. It's a pain in the ass. And for players like me who don't usually like to engage in player versus player combat or content. See, once again, this kind of goes to my background as an MMO player. The MMOs that I play, I usually stick towards player versus environment, or the PvE content. You know, doing quests, fighting against the bosses that the game has, shit like that. I don't usually do duels with other players. I don't usually do the arena stuff where you fight against, you know, like team deathmatch essentially kind of shit. I don't really do those kinds of things. I just stick to the PvE and have fun with that. So remove that stupid idea of having to kill so many players with the gun to unlock the skins. Just have all the skins unlocked and everybody have access to them. Either that, or it could be locked behind a rank or a leveling up thing. You get access to it at a certain rank or level or whatever, just like everything else, which is another idea. Why are all the cosmetic items locked behind leveling up? That's just kind of stupid. If it's cosmetic, it should be unlocked from the get-go. Weapons themselves and their upgrades, I can understand those being locked until a specific rank or whatever. But anything that's cosmetic, like a weapon skin or clothing or body mods for your cars, those are all purely cosmetic. They have no real function. They add nothing to your defense or anything. So why are they locked behind a rank or a level? I don't get that. The next idea I have here, I think they're already going to add this, maybe, or at least I hope they will. The stock market system from single player. The stock investing system added from the single player mode, being able to invest in stocks and being able to affect the stock values by destroying the delivery vehicles for the certain businesses and shit. Doing more business. This would actually be another reason why being able to go into the clucking bells and things like that. Hell, there's a clucking bell up here. Yeah, clucking bell right here. How come we can't go inside and buy food? There's that. Cafe Austere. That's another little food place. Why not? Do more business with Cluckin' Bell, their stock goes up. You know, the value goes up. So you can shoot the shit and destroy their delivery vehicles to bring the stock down, invest in them, and then do a lot of business with them to make the stock go back up, and then you can sell your stock and make some money. Things like that. Also, the next idea, which is another thing I think they're already working on, there was a leaked set of things came out a while back where the voice actors who do the voices for several of the in-game characters like Lester and Gerald, the other quest givers, and Madrazo, where lines of dialogue that had already been recorded were released, and these lines of dialogue had to do with them talking about the casino over here. And this is something that's been rumored for a while now. Where is it? Is that the casino? No. Shit. I think I turned too early. But yeah, the casino over here. Open the place up, give us different gambling activities, betting on horse races, because the casino's right next to the horse track, which is actually right here. Yeah, over here we got our nice casino. Open the place up, have blackjack, have poker, have Texas Hold'em, have all kinds of little games, the slot machines. all kinds of gambling things. You could play against other players and have, make money and shit. And throw in some of Red Dead Redemption where, you're playing poker, you feel like somebody's cheating, you throw your shit down, you pull out your gun and shoot the motherfucker. It's just, again, add more stuff would be so much more fun. So you could do gambling, all those kind of mini games. You could even, again, taking from Red Dead Redemption, have things like Liar's Dice and the game where you do the knife between the fingers. I don't know what that's called. Just add more mini games like that would be cool. And another little part of this that's probably not something that would even be a good idea, but you hear about it on the radio all the time. The San Andreas lottery. Be able to enter the lottery. Maybe you could win, And it would be completely player driven. The more people enter into it, the more cash you would win if you do get the right numbers, right? You buy your lottery ticket, you get your numbers, and then they have a drawing every week or whatever the fuck. And if somebody wins, they get all the money that's been put into the lottery. Have it work the way it does in real life, Again, probably not something that they would ever do, but it would be interesting. The next idea, I don't know if this is maybe just me, it's maybe just because I play in private-only sessions. I never see the armored cars anymore that you can rob. I was talking about those earlier. I never see them anymore. And I also hardly ever see Trevor's airdrops. He'll fly over in his plane, drop a big box that you can bust open and get goodies and shit out of, money, experience, and then there's usually NPCs, the bad guys who are trying to take it, and you gotta kill them off. I never see those anymore. So this idea is to just bring them back if they've been removed. Again, maybe that's just me because I play in private sessions. Maybe you have to be in the normal lobbies to see those. But I don't see why they shouldn't be in private sessions too. Next idea. The ability to take hookers to your apartment or safe house or whatever for safe fucking. That way you don't have to go to some secluded area where the cops might come across you. And I know that's not really going to happen with the cops being what they are, but this actually goes along with another idea later on. But, who the hell bangs a hooker in their car anymore these days? Nobody. And that also goes along with the next idea. You can call strippers from the strip club to your apartment, but all they can do is give you lap dances. Why can't you have sex with them? This would let you have sex with them for a price. Would also be another little nifty thing. Again, more character interaction with NPCs. Obviously, they wouldn't actually show any sexy stuff because we don't need another hot coffee incident happening over here. Either it would do a thing where they would fade to black, or, the camera would just cut over to a window, you hear moaning, but you don't actually see anything. You end up with the girl's panties. I mean, they already have it where you end up with the girl's panties and bras all over your apartment, which is weird when you only have one girl over. Anyways, next idea, more abilities for your passengers in vehicles. Being the passenger in somebody's car is kind of boring. So having more abilities while you're the passenger would be interesting. Number one, being able to just hang out the window, be able to aim better when you're shooting and stuff. Hopefully if you're the passenger, you can use any weapon, because it would be cool to be able to shoot a rocket launcher out of somebody's car. Obviously if you're driving, you can't do that, but if you're the passenger, you should be able to. Especially if you're sitting in the bed of a truck, like the Bison. The Bison is actually a 6-seater. You can fit 4 people in the cab, 2 in the front, 2 in the rear of the cab, and then there's 2 toolboxes in the bed of the truck that people can sit on as well. So you can actually fit 6 people. Be able to have those people in the bed shoot rocket launchers and be able to just stand up and shoot at people as they chase you, This would make chase sequences and missions. It would make them more exciting, more fun. Because that's another thing that I feel like is missing really bad in the game. It's not exciting, you know. There needs to be more excitement. And speaking of chases, that's another thing that I have later on. Speaking of aiming out of your car, how come you can't lock on to people? I know not everybody uses the lock-on aiming system. I do, just because it's easier. But being able to lock on to enemies while you're driving to do drive-bys. I actually kind of missed the classic drive-by shooting system from like Vice City and GTA 3, where you would just shoot straight sideways. Then again, being able to have free range of your complete total aim is better, obviously, but being able to lock on to somebody would be nice too. Especially for passengers. Maybe that's only a passenger ability. Since I guess it would take all of your focus to actually lock on to somebody or really target somebody specifically. Your focus would be broken if you're driving, because you're really trying to concentrate on driving and not hitting anything. So again, maybe that's just an ability for passengers to have. The animals from single-player mode. Have those brought in. Once again, we're on the PS4 now, and the Xbox One, as well as PC. We have the memory to have these things. Along with the hunting challenges and wildlife photography type of stuff. As Franklin in single player, you can take the photography challenge, where you try to photograph every single animal in the game, and there's tons of them. So that would be nice to have those, as well as just being able to see them. Like for people who go off-roading, you'd see all kinds of coyotes and the mountain lions or whatever different animals are up there in the mountains and shit. Just seeing the wildlife, seeing people in the city with dogs, which would be another idea, to be able to have a pet, have a dog, or a cat, you know. They'd be at your house, you could take them for a walk, again like Franklin can in the single-player mode, be able to do things like that, train your dog, you know. It would make the iFruit app on your phone more useful. Not only can you train Franklin's dog, Chop, you can also train your own pets in the online mode. Again, thinking up more stuff on the fly here. Just more stuff extrapolating from the ideas I've already got here. And again, I mentioned this before. Here's the next idea. Again, making it more like single player. Cops would actually be patrolling the streets, like in single player. And they would actually go after random perps. You know, you'd have petty crooks, bank robbers, whatever, trying to run from the cops. You'd see cops chasing after them. You could follow them, watch the gunfight, kill whoever's left. You know, you could help the cops out and get a reward. That would help you with your police reputation. You know, you help the cops out, you get a reward. They're like, yeah, we'll give you some reputation, some positive reputation points, and we'll give you a little bit of some money, some reward, you know. You can keep all the cash that those assholes dropped. Their personal cash, not the stuff that they got from the bank. You know, because obviously that's like thousands. They're not going to let you keep that much. Cop cars and police stations would actually be shown on your map. Police stations should be on your map, because driving past them in a stolen car makes for sad times. So at least having some kind of either that or have it be maybe an upgrade that you can buy for your car, because some people have the scanners in their car or the little radar thing. Have that as an upgrade that you can buy for your car. That way you can see cops. You know, you'd be able to see them on your mini map or on the actual map. Police stations should actually be marked on your map, because those are static locations. They don't move. Actual cop cars that are on patrol should be the things that the scanners should show. So that would be another interesting idea. And so if you're doing something illegal, you know, and the cops are patrolling around, you can see their cones of vision, you can avoid them, to stay, keep them off your back, And again, that's where being able to hide in dumpsters and things would come in handy. Go down a dark alley, hide in a dumpster. The cops won't see you. They're not smart enough to look in the dumpster. Who's going to hide in a dumpster? It smells. That's the cop mentality, That would be in the game, of course, because in the game, cops are portrayed as kind of dumb. And racist, apparently. Anyways. Next idea, and this one's just kind of optional. The ability to get girlfriends or boyfriends, NPC characters, again, taking shit from single player. Franklin can have a number of different girlfriends that he finds throughout his story, be able to take these girls on dates. This would also, feed into being able to go into the restaurants, the food places. You could take your girl to one of the restaurants, take her to one of the nightclubs, the dance clubs, maybe your girl wants to go to a strip club, and if you're playing as a female character, you could have a boyfriend, and of course all the things would stay true. And again, we're not going to discriminate against anybody. You can do same-sex relationships. You can have a girlfriend. If you're a woman, you can play as a lesbian character or a gay man, whatever the fuck. We're not going to discriminate against anybody. Maybe your character's sexuality could be something you could pick when you create your character. Or perhaps it would be your character's sexuality would be something of more like a meter that would go back and forth the more you lean towards one or the other, You would be free to pursue relationships with either sex. And the more you do one or the other, your character would be listed as heterosexual or homosexual, whatever the fuck. Again, that one's just kind of optional. Just more things from past games that I'd like to see brought back just to add more interaction, more of a reason to actually play the game, because I'm finding it kind of hard to come up with reasons. There's not a whole lot of stuff left to do. Again, like I said, I do a lot of the PvE stuff. There's plenty of PvP shit. They keep adding more adversary modes, and every time they do, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't do adversary modes. I don't play team deathmatch. I don't play in and out. I don't do snatch and grab or whatever the fuck it's called, the one where you're fighting over the different things. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just like to make money for my character, buy properties and vehicles and upgrade them, and go on adventures. Having other players is cool, to cooperate with them. I'm a cooperative gamer, not necessarily a competitive gamer. So these are ideas that I would find really nice, just because it would give me more stuff to do that's not competitive against other players. The special variations of weapons with better stats, I already mentioned that. The random encounters from the single player added. Add more gangs / factions. You could add another biker gang or two. The Angels of Death was one from GTA 4. I don't know if they're only in Liberty City. But if the Lost spread their way all the way out from Liberty all the way out to Los Santos, I'm sure the Angels of Death could do so as well. And that would also be a thing. You'd also see gang wars going on, because the Lost and the Angels of Death hate each other. You would actually run into random encounters of them having shootouts against each other on the streets. You would see the Ballers fighting against the Grove Street families, or fighting against the Vagos. There could be other street gangs. The Yardies, I don't know if they actually exist in the HD universe. They would be in Liberty City, I think. Those are ones from GTA 3 and Liberty City Stories. But there's all types of gangs from the GTA universe that you could have. And, I mean, the Mafia, they could exist in Liberty City if you expand the map to have Liberty City as well. More gangs, factions, the cops, the FIB, the army, the army could be its own faction separate from the police, and you could actually get a wanted level with just the army by going after the army base or any other type of army facilities. I don't know if there even are any, but there's the military base. Add more to the game world, more cities. I already kind of touched on this, but more cities. We already know about Los Santos and Liberty City. Those have already been done in the HD universe. I also mentioned seeing a new version of Vice City. Again, I would love to see what Vice City would look like in the new HD universe. I would also love to see Las Venturas and San Fierro, again, to bring back the trifecta from San Andreas. Of course, the way I've actually heard it, Las Venturas is actually in a separate state now in the HD universe. It's no longer a part of San Andreas. San Fierro is still part of it, and it actually makes sense considering Las Venturas is based on Las Vegas, which is in Nevada, not California. Los Santos is Los Angeles, and San Fierro was San Francisco. Those two are both in California, so those make sense to be in the same state. You could have a new state called Paradise State, and that's where Las Venturas is. You know, there have been people who have come up with not really prototype maps, but their own ideas of what the GTA United States of America would look like. You know, you'd have Los Santos over where California is with San Fierro north of it, and then you could have Las Venturas somewhere near the middle, and Liberty City would be over on the right side of the map over where New York would be, and then you would have Vice City down where Florida would be. And hell, in the 3D universe, they actually referred to it as being in Florida. So, I don't know if that was just a mess up, or they just didn't really think about it before they went and did it. You could also finally bring in Carcer City, which is a city that's never actually been in a GTA game, but it's been mentioned many times by characters in the games. Pedestrians mentioned something about, I'm moving to Carcer City or whatever the fuck. Carcer City would basically be where Detroit or Chicago would be on the map. It's basically a combination of the two. And it would just be this crime-ridden hellhole. And with the state of Detroit and Michigan in general, it would make perfect sense for the GTA guys, the Rockstar guys, to do a parody version of it right now. Polluted water was always something that was mentioned about being in Carcer City. So you could add Carcer City in. You could include Ludendorff, this little city from the prologue of GTA 5, would be in the North Yankton, would be the northern sector, like up where North and South Dakota would be in the map. You could have smaller cities like that, just little small cities. Vice City, Carcer City, Liberty City. Another thing to add for Liberty City is something very few people know about. When they were making GTA 4, they had planned to add another couple islands to the map. These were going to be known as the Caraway Islands, which were going to be the GTA universe equivalent to the Hamptons. The Hampton Islands in New York are these really nice, ritzy places where the really rich people live, these palatial mansions that just look friggin' ridiculous, and that's what the Caraways were going to be. So you could add those to Liberty City to sort of flesh that out and include content that was cut. It was actually cut because there wasn't enough room on the disc to include those two things, and they wanted to focus on the city itself. And they felt that including the Caraways would kind of take away from that. So that's why they cut it. Or at least that's what I've heard. But it would be nice to add those back in and include them just to give us more of the map to explore. You could have mansions. You could buy a mansion out on the Caraways or, you know, whatever the fuck. There would be some rich motherfucker out there who would give you missions. Ooh. add more TV shows and movies to watch. They've got the movie theaters, and you can watch your TV. There's not a whole lot of TV shows, though. And they kind of tend to loop rather quickly. And the same thing for the movies in the movie theaters. As well as, well, there's actually plenty of music and radio stations, so they may not need to. That was actually the next idea, add more music and radio stations. But I mean, if you're going to have multiple cities, each city would have its own radio stations, and probably hence it would have its own music selection as well. And different DJs. This would actually be rather costly, because they'd have to hire a lot of different people to do voice acting. But yeah. More environmental interaction, I already went over that. Be able to just lean up against a fence. A use for the job points. When you do missions, you get job points, but they don't seem to do anything. As you can see up there, the job points thing. They don't seem to do anything. You can't use them for anything. Like, I originally thought that when they first were going to introduce the heists, I kind of figured, like, you would have to have so many job points to initiate a heist. That would have been a use for them. I don't know. I don't know what you could use them for, but we could think of something. Oh, here's a fun one. Day jobs. I remember, again, more mini-games. I remember previous GTA games being able to deliver pizzas. You know, you get on the little Faggio scooter, you could deliver pizzas to people. You'd be a pizza delivery guy. Only I would expand it, you can use any vehicle you want. You know. You'd be able to do that. You could be an ambulance driver or a paramedic. You could do that. You could be a firefighter. Just jack a frickin' fire truck and you could go fight fires. Jack a cop car and you could be a vigilante. And again, these things would feed into your reputation. Doing the paramedic stuff, you'd get positive reputation with the paramedics. Doing the firefighting, you'd get positive reputation with them. Doing the vigilante stuff, you'd get positive reputation with the cops. Cop cars would also bring back the ability from GTA 4 where there would be a most wanted list. You could go after specific criminals, and it would all be random. It would just be NPCs, and you could just go after them. They would be hiding in a specific location, which would be marked on your GPS. You could use it to go there. You kill them, you get some money, you get some positive reputation with the cops. Just more things for people to do, you know. What other day jobs? Maybe not even day jobs, but just, again, the fun activities that used to be. What happened to the rampages? Trevor only has them in the single player. Why? Yes, you can go on a rampage, but you don't get rewards for them. And that actually brings up another point. Better AI for the friggin' traffic. Because the AI in the traffic is just stupid as hell. These people skidding all over the place. I'm trying to stay in my lane. They're sliding into my lane for no reason. See, look. I wasn't even coming close to the line in the middle, and this dude's sliding into my lane, getting in my way. Yeah. Improve the traffic AI. They would actually use their turn signals more often. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm driving down, and a motherfucker, like, I'm cutting lanes, okay, that's my fault, but this guy goes to make a turn, he's not signaling or anything. And I know the AI can use turn signals, I've seen them do it. That would also be a fun little ability, actually giving the player the ability to use their turn signals. Maybe that's not necessary. Plus, don't know where exactly you'd be able to map that onto the controller. There's not exactly a whole lot of buttons free. What other day jobs? Pizza driver, paramedic, firefighter, vigilante. Just think of different mini games. I don't know. Next idea on the list. A change made to Simeon's car lists. I got one of Simeon's car lists here. I miss the way the car lists used to be in previous games, where you would go to a garage or whatever, and they'd have a list printed on the wall. You'd go find one of the cars, take it back to the garage, and that car would be scratched off the list, and you could go for the rest of them. It wasn't just like it is with Simeon here. You take one car from the list, and then the list is gone. So you only get to make money off of one car. How about I collect all those different cars? You know? Seriously. Go down to Simeon's place on the docks. There should be a list printed on the wall. You look at the list, you say, okay, I got these lists. Or I got these cars. You go out and find one of the cars, you bring it back, you get some money for it. That one's scratched off the list, and then you can get the rest of them too. Again, giving the players more opportunities to make money. Improve the traffic AI, I just talked about that. And the next idea, which I already talked about, which seems like they're already doing, more options for the creator mode, including new types of races. This is actually something I don't think they are adding. They are giving us more options in the racing things. There's more props that they said they were going to add. I've got a few ideas for those, by the way. Be able to make different types of races, like drag races, you know, one-on-one drag racing. And not only that, but drag racing where each participant starts at a different location. Once again, you guys know I've shown it several times before. I have a bunch of monster truck themed races that I've made, and one of them is the oval drag on the horse racing track. It's based off of the classic Chicago style monster truck race that originated in Chicago, hence the name. It's an oval shaped track, but the way it starts is you actually have one guy over here and one guy on the other side, and they chase each other around the oval. So having a race like that would be interesting. Having a place where the track would be the same distance for each participant, but they would start at different locations. You know, being able to do things like that would be nice. New types of races, more props. Once again, I've already mentioned my figure 8 monster truck track that I have. It would be nice to have a big set of cars that would actually be crunchable as well, destructible cars, with dirt ramps that go around them, just plain dirt ramps in general as props. But a nice big set of cars with dirt ramps that go all the way around it for the big figure 8 track, that would be nice. Again, crunchable cars, more junker cars, because the ones that we have available to us are really kind of small, and they're not that long, you know? More props, they're already going to be adding that, apparently, and more options for the racing and stuff, and as well as the other creation modes. You can make death matches, you can make all different kinds of things. It would also be nice if they would give us the ability to actually make our own missions, where we could actually set up enemies, NPC enemies, spawn points or something for them, which is another idea, enemy spawn points. Those would only really apply for like gang attack things and missions. Having the enemies spawn from a specific place, and I don't know, instead of having them just spawn out of nowhere. Of course, during missions, they don't really spawn out of nowhere. Not like the cops do. They just spawn out of fucking nowhere. But we already talked about that. But being able to create missions, you know, that would be interesting. Set the payout. Of course, that would be a slippery slope, because most people would create a mission, give themselves $1 million, just like that. There would be limits to that, you know, depending on what all you have to do, how many objectives there are to the mission. You'd get more money, you know. Next idea. This is another one that would be optional. because something tells me a lot of people would probably hate this idea. And that would be removing the ability to deposit money into your bank account through your phone. That bugs me just because it's completely unrealistic. You can't do that. You can't deposit cash into your bank account using your phone. You can deposit a check into your bank account using your phone. There are actually some banks that do that. You take a picture of the check with your phone and it gets deposited into your bank account. But you can't deposit cash with your phone. That just doesn't make any sense. Again, opening up bank locations that you could actually go into, make deposits or withdrawals, as well as having the ATMs would also be another thing. Again, like I said, this one is optional because, like I said, a lot of people would probably hate this idea. Because most people probably like being able to use their phone to deposit money because it just makes things easier. Speaking of Del Perro Heights, here it is. Used to have an apartment here. And then the Bahama Mamas, yeah, here it is. I've already talked about this before. You can actually access the interior using a glitch with a fire truck. You use the water cannon to knock somebody through that door over there. And you can actually see, they may have patched that though, but the interior does exist. As I said, it's not fully detailed, there's no pedestrians in, but finish that off, you know? Let us go into the dance clubs, the nightclubs, let us have some fun. That would also kind of be a cool thing to do with the voice chat over headsets. If you're sitting in the nightclubs or whatever, you're sitting at a table, say with some of your friends, only you and your friends can hear the conversation. It's not like proximity chat where anybody close enough can hear you. If you're sitting at a table, only you and your friends can hear you, you know, because it's a noisy nightclub. And that would be the other thing, to adjust the voice chat so that not everybody in the lobby can hear you. Only people who are close to you. You know, turn it to proximity chat. Although that might already be an option, I don't know. Next idea, this would probably also be something that could be optional. The ability to command NPC followers. This, I think, would only really apply to certain missions. Like, again, recently I've been doing the cleaning the cat house mission a lot. And in that one, you have the NPC follower, Anna, who's a prostitute. You're rescuing her. She just kind of follows you around. She has no AI, no self-preservation. She takes cover, but that's about it. How about give us the ability, say, hey, dummy, how about you go wait in my car? I'll be back in a few minutes after I get done killing these bastards, right? Or just tell her, go over there. You know, maybe you could use voice commands. Or maybe there would be a button thing where you could bring up a menu to give her a command. Go over there. Go wait in the car. Whatever the fuck. Would be nice to be able to do that. Also, it would work if, again, tying into the reputation system, you get friendly enough with a gang, they send you reinforcements, you could order them around. Say, you go over there, you know, advance on the enemy position. Add a little bit of strategy from, like, kind of first-person shooter kind of games or whatever. Like I said, probably optional, probably not going to happen, but it would be nice. Oh, this is one that would be really cool. Aerial takedowns / kills. Also hearkening to the cleaning the cat house mission. There's a place where you can be on the roof of the building and there will be a guy below you. Jump down on him, you can tackle him and maybe nail him with a knife, or maybe you jump down shooting at him with a gun. Aerial kills. Be able to do cool aerial stuff like that. Shoot while jumping. You can already shoot smaller weapons while you're parachuting, which is cool, and I appreciate that. I haven't really done it at all because haven't really had that situation come up, really. These things are really situational, but it would still be nice to have aerial kills and takedowns, you know. Melee kills, you could just jump on a guy and knock him out, like for stealth missions, or knife him to kill him, or just shoot him, or whatever the fuck. Would be nice to do that. I already talked about the enemy spawn locations. Spawn points, again, this would only be like during missions and gang attacks and stuff like that. But like in gang areas, like you go down to the Grove Street family's gang areas where they're all over the place, they would be able to come out of their apartments since they all live down there. You know, what the hell was that guy doing coming into the other lane? But yeah, you'd see them opening up the door to their apartment and coming out. You wouldn't be able to go in yourself, but you'd be able to see them coming out. And that would just be a nifty little thing. Any different gang locations would have things like that. Another thing with the enemy morale, you know. If you're, say, just in free mode, you decide to start antagonizing some gang members, you kill enough of them off, they'll kind of give up and maybe try to run away, you know. Maybe you could scare them. You could scare them into running away. Suppressing fire, or wearing scary masks, or scary face paint, or whatever the fuck. Or just shouting insane, rambling, maniacal laughing over your headset. They would hear that, and they would be like, this motherfucker's crazy. We should probably run away from him. You know? Enemy morale. They'll run away if they feel like they're gonna die, which they probably are. Especially if it's a bunch of players against NPC gang members. You start ganging up on the gang members, they're like, fuck this, we're fucked, we can't win, so let's just run away. They'll jump in their cars and try to run away. That would be interesting. Here's another idea that would be kind of nifty. Most MMOs have crafting. You can craft your weapons and armor and things like that. Well, this is GTA. You don't really craft weapons and body armor. Give us the ability to craft Molotov cocktails. We already have all the things necessary. Once again, pisswassers. You drink the bottle of beer, you keep the bottle. You'd be able to find bits of rag or cloth just laying around wherever the fuck, because there's garbage all over the fuck. You could just sift through somebody's garbage and get rags. You go to the gas station, you fill the bottle up with gas, you stuff a rag in it, you got a Molotov cocktail. Since for some reason we can't buy Molotov cocktails at the ammunition, the only place we can get them is during missions. Missions or races if people have placed the Molotov cocktail item in the race, which I do. For that specific reason, because I hate running out of Molotov cocktails, because I'm a fucking pyromaniac. Give us the ability to craft them. You know? Actually give us a reason to drink the beers other than just getting drunk. Getting drunk should also be more like it was in Red Dead Redemption, where you can stumble and fall all over yourself. You can't fall over anymore. I want to be able to fall down and roll all over the place and look like a drunken idiot. Role-playing. Let's add more role-playing stuff into the game. You know? Get completely shit-faced drunk and stumble out of a bar at 3 in the morning or whatever. Have to call a cab. Can you actually use the taxi cabs in GTA Online? I don't know. Because it's not a good idea to drive your own car when you're drunk, because you swerve all over the fucking place, and yeah. But let us craft Molotov cocktails. Like I said, stuff's basically already in the game. The bottle, as an item, is already modeled. Just instead of slamming it down, breaking it, you'd keep it in your inventory. You'd have empty bottles as an item in your inventory. And then you could find bits of rag, whatever the fuck. You go to the dumpster out behind a clothing store, and they'd have old clothes that they couldn't sell. You tear them up, you get rags. And craft Molotov cocktails. You take that shit to the gas station, fill up the bottle with the gas pump, stuff a rag, you got a Molotov cocktail. Boom. Next idea. Tactical movement between cover. This would be the kind of stuff like if you saw me playing The Division, which that game wasn't that great, but the tactical movement between cover was nice. Being able to, while you're in cover, you can look at another place of cover that you would like to go and hit the button. You hold down the button and your guy would jump over a crate or whatever that you're standing behind, jump over a wall, and run over to go into cover. You know, just add some more tactical, strategic things like that. You can already go around cover, which is nice, but it should be a little bit more... it shouldn't happen without you asking it to. Usually you have to hit the square button for PS4 to make it happen, but I've had instances where the guy will do it automatically just by me holding the direction on the stick. So I would say have it be you have to hit the square button to make him do it. Because there have been times where he's done it when I didn't want him to. He would walk out from behind a corner and get shot, and that's not fun. Next item, or next idea, searching corpses or knocked out people to get items. Instead of having people just shit out wads of cash, which is completely unrealistic, you'd actually have to search their body to find their wallet. You could find cash, you could find credit cards. You could do like Watchmen and they like credit card fraud, or not Watchmen, Watch Dogs. You could do like that and fucking take money out of somebody else's ATM account. That would be interesting. Not only that, when you kill enemies, the bad guys, you'd be able to search them for ammo, guns, and shit like that. Again, that one's probably optional. Just having people shit them out just seems kind of unrealistic to me. I prefer the more RPG approach of actually having to search somebody's body to find stuff. The next idea. In single player, I believe you can still do this, and I know it was possible in GTA 4. If you're going fast enough and you crash, you get thrown through the windshield and out of your car. Yeah, I guess they took that out because they didn't want people complaining about it. Well, like putting your helmet on when you're riding a motorcycle, which prevents you from taking as much damage, how about add an animation for putting your seatbelt on in a car? And that would prevent you from being thrown through the windshield in a crash. Another big idea there. And I also touched on this next idea earlier, chase stuff. This would be like cinematic kind of things. There's the one mission in single player mode, Michael and Franklin going after Michael's boat that was stolen, and the whole thing, Franklin jumps up, has to jump up and grab the mast of the boat to climb onto it, and all this other stuff, and you got to keep up with the trailer that's carrying the boat and all these cool things. Have more cinematic chase things. Be able to passengers be able to hang out the door, actually open the door and hang out of it to shoot people. That guy's not happy. More chase things. Stuff like that. Being able to jump from vehicle to vehicle during chases. You know, again, this would really only be for the passengers. And this would be kind of stuff like from Just Cause. Those the Just Cause games, being able to jump from car to car was just amazing. And that would go hand in hand with your parachute. You'd be able to parachute down on things, land on a car, jump into the car to hijack it, or, I don't know, maybe give us some sort of a grappling hook that we could grapple onto helicopters to take those down. I don't know. Maybe. Just a few ideas. Next idea, and this is another one that's questionable. they've already added 2 monster trucks to the game. We've got the Liberator, and I can never remember what the other one is called, but it's the El Camino. It's based on the Picador, but it's not actually called the Picador monster truck. I can probably look it up real quick. Travel, it's under the Warstock, or is it? Yeah, the Marshall. Don't know why it's called the Marshall. It's the Picador El Camino body style. But we've got these 2 monster trucks in the game. How about actually let us keep the monster trucks in our garage like normal personal vehicles? Or you could have specific garages just for monster trucks where you could store them separately and it would only fit 1 truck. Also, maybe the ability to build our own monster trucks. Just certain, like, off-road vehicles, the Mesa, the different pickup trucks, we could turn them into monster trucks with the big tires and the big suspension and shit like that, complete with custom paint jobs and, you know, having blowers sticking out of the hood for the engines, you know, different stuff. Again, optional, just me because I'm a monster truck buff. More vehicle custom garages. Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Having a new garage like Benny's, only specializing in off-road vehicles. Have one specializing in muscle cars. Have one specializing in sports cars, tuner cars. Have, you know, again, hearkening back to Saints Row, or not Saints Row, San Andreas. They had 3 different garages that specialized in different vehicles. You had the one that specialized in muscle cars, the one that specialized in import tuners, and I think the other one specialized in either sports cars or lowriders. I can't remember which. Have more stuff like that, because Benny's, he's like a one-note lowriders only kind of guy. I don't know why he has the Banshee or the Sultan. I would move those to a different garage. You know, have some other custom garage open up. Enemy AI tweaks is the next idea. The enemies seem to be kind of omnipresent. Like, they can see you even when you're in cover, and especially moving along cover, they like follow you as you move along, even though you should be hidden from their view. They should have cones of view like the cops do when they're chasing you, you know. And if you break visual contact, they'll keep shooting at your last known location. This would tie in with the stealth ideas. They would keep shooting at your last known location, but you'd be over here, and then you could shoot them, and then they'd be like, what the hell, he's over there, you know. More, you know, AI tweaks make it more realistic. They can't always see you. They don't always know where you are, or they shouldn't. They do, but they shouldn't. Again, that's something else that comes up when I'm playing clearing out the cat house. Is these fuckers follow you no matter where you're going. You're in cover hidden behind a wall. They shouldn't know that you've moved, because they can't see you. It's like they have X-ray vision, and that's bullshit. These are AI. They shouldn't be that smart, especially when they're doped up bikers or gangbangers. They ain't that smart. And this is the last, I already mentioned the last idea on the list, is buying cars from actual car lots or private sellers. You could maybe hear, say you go on the internet app on your phone or on your computers, you could hear about somebody, they could have like a GTA equivalent to Craigslist, where people would list cars for sale, and the cars would be in varying degrees of quality. You could have a junker car that's really beat up and damaged. It would be cheap. You could take it, repair it, and get it fixed up. And also, being able to take the rusty-ass cars that you can find and restore them to better quality would be nice. You know, you find a rusty Voodoo or a rusty Tornado, and you could fix it up to normal quality. You know, be able to find cars in junkyards, you know, and you could fix them up. You know, you buy the junkyard owner, you pay him some money for the car, and he'll let you take it, you know. But there's plenty of car lots that exist in the game that could be retooled to actually be car lots where you could actually buy cars. They would have specific cars there for sale. You could go there and browse what they've got, and if you're interested in one of them, you go up to it, you hit the button, whatever button it would be, and salesman comes out and says, "You want to buy this? It's this much." You're like, "Okay, here you go. Car's yours." You can take it back to your personal garage to get a tracker put on it, get insurance for it, or you'd have to take it to the Los Santos Customs to get it insured. But having actual car lots, not having to go online, because once again, who the hell buys a car online? I mean, yeah, you browse Craigslist, but you actually have to go to the guy to buy the car from him. You do it in person. You don't pay for it over the internet. Again, this is just me. I'm a stickler for semantics and reality. You can't deposit cash in a bank account over a phone. You can't buy a car off the internet. Or, I guess you could, like on eBay, but like, who's stupid enough to do that? Without actually seeing the car in person, I ain't buying a damn thing. So, again, having real car lots in the game, they would act as like auction houses again. You know, you could actually take your car to one of the used car lots to sell it at the auction house, and it would actually be shown there. All the other players could see it. They wouldn't be able to damage it because it would be protected, whatever the fuck. It's not, you can't damage it until somebody actually buys it. And if they're in, what's it called? If they're in passive mode, you can't damage them anyways because they turn into ghosts. Don't drive rentals. But yeah, that's the last idea that I have. But yeah, it took me a couple of days to write all these down. But it would just be interesting to see this game be more like an actual MMORPG instead of... There's not a whole lot of RPG elements. And I know they have the skills. Being able to break into cars stealthily would be nice. Your flying skill just basically represents how stable it is while you're flying. Driving... what other driving skills could you have? I don't know. Or driving perks, rather. Maybe being able to control your car in mid-air would be a perk that you could unlock by getting your driving skill up so high. It would probably be one of the low ones, like you fill up the first chunk, or maybe the first 2 chunks in the bar. And you would be able to do that. Being able to dual-wield pistols and other smaller guns would be something, a perk to have for the shooting skill, because being able to dual-wield pistols would be cool. I mean, hell, again, they had that in San Andreas. You'd be able to dual-wield pistols, machine pistols like the Uzi, SMG, the little machine pistol that they just added, like the Tech 9, all the different kinds of pistols. That would probably be it, because you can't really dual-wield rifles, assault rifles, shotguns. Although being able to dual-wield 2 Tommy guns would be awesome. Especially for me, because I love the Tommy gun. Trying to think of other perks for these skills. Strength. Your strength is your melee power. Being able to... There have... In the single-player mode, GTA 4 and I think even GTA 5, they had special, like, knockout abilities with melee combat. The melee combat in the game, or the hand-to-hand combat, isn't really all that great. It would also be cool to have the different fighting styles like they were in San Andreas. But again, that's probably not going to happen. But at least have different special melee moves that you could learn by leveling up your strength stat. Or there would be a fighting stat. Not just strength, but you're fighting, as opposed to shooting. You have shooting and you have fighting. So you'd have better hand-to-hand fighting skills. And you would unlock the special moves. Things like that would be interesting. Stamina, shooting, strength, stealth, flying, drive, lung capacity. What the hell perks could we have for swimming? I don't know. Flying. Flying. Here's a good one. At a certain level of leveling up your flying ability, you would gain the ability to execute a barrel roll really quickly. Do a barrel roll, you know. Or do the upside down roll, you know. Or do the where you go upside down and then turn around, you know, like add some stuff from like Star Fox. Of course, those would only be available to planes. What for helicopters, though? I don't know. Helicopters are kind of bland. And helicopters are the biggest pain in the ass, too, because they just wobble all over the place. Of course, that's probably just me, because my flying stat is really low. I don't go for planes too much. I drive cars. I don't even really go for the motorcycles all that often. Stopped it just barely. But yeah. We could think up some perks, stealth things. The stealth skill, you could get perks where you could get different stealth moves, like stealth takedowns, stealth kills, things like that. You would unlock at different ranks or different chunks of the skill. But yeah, I am definitely glad to hear about this new DLC that they're releasing, the whole criminal empire and the illegal goods and stuff, and your organization headquarters, and the new stuff that they're adding for the creator mode, the race props and other things like that, and the more options for that, and the new vehicles. They said they were adding new vehicles that are like stunt specific kind of vehicles, or vehicles that are tailor-made towards doing stunts. So I'm guessing high-end sports cars, supercars, probably like sport bikes, you know, shit like that. Dirt bikes, maybe, which, I don't know. There's already 2 different dirt bikes. I don't really know if we need any more than that. Add a big loop for us to do. Have that in a race. Have a fucking big-ass loop. I'm gonna do a barrel roll. I don't know. As I said, dirt ramps would be nice to have for dirt race tracks, because I've got my Baja 1000 tracks that I've made that are all on dirt for the most part, and having these big wooden ramps stick up out of them is just kind of weird. Should be dirt ramps. But yeah, the big things I really want to see is the balancing of prices. Because I hate how overpriced everything is. It's ridiculous. The faction reputation thing would be really nice too. Oh, another thing. I remember the payphone missions from old games. There's payphones, you can actually see them in the game. You can't use them for nothing. Why even have them? How about have the payphone missions? Actually having to go to quest givers' houses to talk to them to take the missions, as opposed to just accessing them from a menu, which is kind of weak, you know. And what happened to Potshot, by the way? That mission seems to have been taken out of the list. Yeah, because peer pressure is the only one that starts with a P. But I know it's still in the game because playlists, bookmark playlists. I have this bookmark playlist that has nothing but Potshot. Which, another idea, let us make playlists of just missions. Because you can't. You can only do races, death matches, team death matches, and the other adversary modes, and the other sort of multiplayer things like that. You can't do playlists of missions, which is horseshit because Rockstar has their playlists and they include missions too. So why can't we make them? Maybe you have to do it on the website, I don't know, but you can't do them in-game, and that kind of sucks. But yeah, add some more missions to the game as well. Again, this would also tie into the faction thing. Each faction, most of them at least, would have contacts specific to that faction that would give you missions, and doing those missions would get you positive reputation with that faction. So there'd be, you could probably just use Lamar as the contact for the Grove Street families, because he's actually a member of the Grove Street families. There could be a contact for the Ballers, for the Vagos, for the Lost, for the Angels of Death, if you want to bring them in. I don't know about doing missions for the cops. There could be missions for the FIB, or the Army, even. You'd have a contact in the Army, you know. Having positive enough reputation with the Army would get you discounts on the military vehicles. Because buying a tank is like up over $1 million. You know, buying one of the jet aircraft is like up over $1 million. Be able to get us some discounts on that. That would be cool. Be able to buy civilian versions of police vehicles. The police squad car, the new one that's based on the new model Ford Taurus. There's no civilian version of that. We've got civilian versions of the Buffalo, because that's one of the cop cars. We've got civilian version of the, it's called the Stainer, whatever the fuck. It's the old Crown Vic, basically. You've got a civilian version of that. You can't do anything with it, really, but you can have it. So why not have one of the new model cop car? And hell, the Fugitive is basically the civilian version of the Chevy Malibu that, or maybe it's not a Malibu, maybe it's a Chevy Impala, that certain police use as a cop car. It's a detective kind of cop car, like an unmarked cop car. But have civilian versions of police vehicles that we could get, the big armored SWAT van, or things like that would be interesting. Having positive reputation with the police, we'd get discounts on those. And for God's sake, fix the fucking thing that's keeping the damn clan tag on my cars. I cannot take my crew tag off of my vehicles. I mean, I can take it off, but as soon as I come back into the game, it's back. I've got it on my Bison, on my Rat truck, it's on my Sultan over here. And I never even, well, okay, the Rat truck and the Bison, I did ask to put them on. But I should be able to take it off, right? And I can, but like I said, as soon as I reload into the game, they're back. So, for whatever reason, I don't know what's causing this glitch, but it sucks. So, yeah. yeah. I would really like to see at least some of these ideas used. I think most of these ideas are really good. Again, some of them are kind of questionable, like the having boyfriends and girlfriends thing. It's really just, again, more for role-playing, giving us something to do outside of just killing each other for no good reason. You know? The game just has way too much of a focus on PvP rather than PvE. You know, all these new adversary modes they keep adding. It's just, they're telling us, fight each other, get at each other's throats, you know, just fucking... Oh, speaking of stealth, how about the ability to just choke people to death? Give us a grot wire weapon. You know, I'm going into the Godfather territory now. But I liked that game. Being able to just choke a motherfucker to death with your bare hands, you know? Smack him. Be able to, like, again, more hand-to-hand fighting stuff. Be able to grab a guy and throw him around, you know, bang him up against a wall. I loved that stuff in the Godfather games. That was great. You know. But those are my ideas. All of the ideas that I have written down here. I may come up with more. But those are all my ideas to make GTA Online better, or at least to make a better sequel to GTA Online. That would be another suggestion to Rockstar. If you're really making a new GTA game, don't bother with a story mode. I don't think anybody really cares about the story mode anymore, or your characters. That's another problem I've always had with the GTA games. We're always stuck with your character. We don't have really any attachment to your character, because it's not our character. We can't create our own character. That's where the Saints Row games succeeded, is because we actually created our own character. We still had to go through your story, or their story for the Saints Row games, but at least it was our character. You know, we can't really customize Franklin or Trevor or Michael all that much. Sure, we can change their clothes, their hair, facial hair things, but we don't get to create our own character like we do here. You know, being able to have our own character and tell our own story is where gamers like me actually like. See, I've barely even played the single-player mode. I don't care. I hate Trevor. There's one thing. I hate him. Michael's just kind of bland, and so is Franklin. But Trevor is just insufferable. I feel like Trevor was made as the parody of the stereotypical GTA player. A psychopath who's... Apparently Trevor is sexually confused. This is just the stuff I've noticed from the game, or from the story. But he's a freaking psychopath who wakes up in his underwear out in the desert after drinking too much. It's like, this is what the guys at Rockstar think their typical player is like. We ain't psychopaths. I use the game to vent. Because I put up with a lot of shit in my life. I play the game to vent. I vent my psychotic urges in a video game where there's no real consequences, at least none for me. And I use it to vent my anger. You know, I'll just walk out and gun down a bunch of people in the game, so I don't do it in real life, because I don't feel like going to jail or being killed. Because I like being alive and free. So yeah, but that's the end of my rant, all these ideas that I've had. And I know Rockstar has their own little email address where you can send suggestions to them of ideas. I'm actually going to send them an email and include this video the YouTube link, I'm going to be sending it to them. So, hi Rockstar guys. Thanks for watching, if you do. Hopefully you find some good ideas here, some inspiration for future content updates. I hope you do. I'd really like to see, again, the vehicles that I mentioned, I'd like to see added to the game. I'd really like to see some of those. Classic vehicles. Vehicles from past GTA games. Even the older games like GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas. I'd like to see classic, like, 80s model cars from Vice City. The old models of the Cheetah, the Infernus, you know. Old models of the Coquette. Actually, no, the Coquette was only added in GTA 4. You could bring back the GTA 4 model of the Coquette, because it was the older model Chevy Corvette. Right. There's plenty of old muscle cars, don't get me wrong, and those are nice. The old Stallion, the Diablo Stallion, you know, be able to have things. That's the other thing. You guys added the Stallion to the game, but there's no customization options for it. It's kind of boring. I mean, it's not a bad car, but it's just, there's no body mods. Where the hell did it go? There it is. Yeah, it looks okay. It handles okay, but there's no body mods. Like, there should be hood scoops, maybe add a spoiler, grill options maybe, exhaust tips, maybe make it a two-tone with, like, racing stripes. And there should be, because I know there's a ragtop version of it, there should be a convertible version that you should be able to buy. I still have to unlock all the heist vehicles except for that stupid piece of crap Casco. I already unlocked that thing, but I gotta get everything else. The F620 needs some frickin' body mods. That thing, it's a nice car. Needs some body mods, though. Grill options, exhaust tips, front bumpers, back bumpers, side skirts, spoilers, especially spoilers. That thing's crying out for a spoiler. Hood scoops. So many things. Maybe a different version of the Picador, because I liked the body style of the El Camino that the San Andreas version of the Picador was. It was more of a 70s model. This one looks like more of an 80s model El Camino. And I liked the 70s model more. How come we can't customize the injection too much? The wheels specifically. Like, for some reason they have these weird sand tires in the back, and the front don't match, so you can't customize the wheels. I don't know. I'd like to see an off-road version of the Bison. Like a short cab, just like a two-door, two-seater pickup truck with... It would be like the Rebel, only it would have the Bison body style. And could maybe even have like a trophy truck upgrade to it, where it would have the cool flared wheel wells and shit like that, because I like trophy trucks. I'm into the Baja stuff, the off-road things, monster trucks and all that shit. It would be nice to have a clean version of the Bodie, because this thing just looks junky. And also, it would be nice if the clean version had an enclosed cab, because this thing is just way too open. You drive around in this thing, you're a sitting duck. You can get shot so easily. Enclosed cab, clean model of the truck, get rid of the rust, but still give us all the body mods, because that was something that I hated about the clean Rebel. Is there's no body mods for it. You can't use the same body mods you got for the dirty Rebel. Like I said, the other version of the Rancher, the little pickup truck version, which there's the junk version of it that exists in the junkyards. It's completely junked out. It's not even a drivable vehicle. It's just like a shell. But yeah, that would be nice. There's also the junk Uranus from GTA 4. You could add that in. another thing, speaking of off-road vehicles, we have these two versions of the Sand King, and I hate both of them because they're too long. Even the short one. I'd like to see the San Andreas version of the Sand King, which, again, looked kind of like a Ford Bronco or a Chevy Blazer. But I think it was actually a four-door. But it was still like a jacked-up off-road truck. Just all these different old versions of cars. You could do the 80s versions from cars that were in Vice City. You could do the 90s models from San Andreas. And I think GTA 3 was supposed to be set in the 70s. So you could have the old 70s models of some of those cars. There's the Stanier. I liked when the Premier was a rear-wheel drive in GTA 4. I know you guys changed it to front-wheel drive to make it more like its real-world counterpart, which is what, the Chevy Cobalt is what it looks like. But I thought it handled better as a rear-wheel drive car. The Asterope, that's another car. I think that's the only car in the game that has a sunroof. How about having people be able to stick up out of the sunroof and be able to shoot at people? And the Asterope could use some body mods. It's another one that has no body mods. There's the Buffalo, I was talking about that. The Washington is also kind of a cop car, the old Crown Vic, but not really. Got the two versions of the Cavalcade. How come there's the other version of the Baller can't be bought? Yeah, you can steal it off the streets, but I had the two versions of the Felon, which is cool. Limo. How about a Hummer limo or a Patriot limo? And be able to have a custom limo with bulletproof armor and a fucking... They already added that though with the, but it's not this kind of a limo. It's the, what is it? The not the Schwarzer, the Shafter. It's modeled after the Shafter. All these motorcycles, hardly any of the chopper motorcycles though, and the ones that you do have kind of suck. The Innovation is boring. It doesn't have any body mods or anything. The Hexer is boring and has no body mods. Like I said, the Revenant is one that I really want to have. There's a bunch of the other ones from the Lost in the Dam that you could bring back. But I'm just rambling now. Anyways, that's wrapping this episode of the Let's Rant up. Thank you all for watching. And again, thank you to any of the Rockstar guys who are watching this. Like I said, hopefully you guys get some inspiration from this. Hopefully we get to see some of these ideas implemented. It would be really cool. If not in this game, hopefully in a future game. You know, like I said, some of these ideas you wouldn't be able to do without doing a completely new game. I understand that. But, yeah. Thank you all for watching. And we will see you next time on Let's Rant. So, good night.